Welcome back, guys. Before we get into this unique game, what if I told you that the guy who invented the platformer, yes, the genre that basically raised an entire generation of gamers, also made a tennis game for the Sega Genesis? And not a bad one, not a great one either, but an interesting one. One that still gets people talking more than 30 years later. I'm talking about David Crane's Amazing Tennis, released in 1992 on the Genesis. So we're heading back to the virtual court to see, does it actually hold up? Was it ever really amazing? And seriously, what's with the Easter egg where your player gets nailed in the crotch? Let's get into it. First, some background, because it honestly matters. Who was this David Crane? Simply put, the man is a legend. Not the kind where people are just being nice, but the real deal. He was right there in 1979. He walked out of Atari with 4 other programmers because they weren't getting credit or fair pay. That takes guts. Those 5 went on to start Activision, the first independent third-party publisher ever. Imagine that. Before Activision, the idea of making games without the hardware manufacturer's blessing sounded crazy. Then in 1982, Crane released Pitfall Harry, a game that sold over 4 million copies on the Atari 2600, sat at number 1 on the charts for 64 weeks, and is widely credited as one of the first true platforming games ever made. Pitfall Harry was basically gaming's Indiana Jones. Crane followed that with hits like Ghostbusters on the Commodore 64 and the beloved NES title A Boy and His Blob. By the early 90s, Crane was at Absolute Entertainment, a company he co-founded after leaving Activision. That's where Amazing Tennis happened, and it wasn't just a business move. Crane actually loved tennis. He played in tournaments and did doubles matches with his old Activision buddy, Alan Miller. So when he set out to make a tennis game, it wasn't some random project. He really knew what tennis was supposed to feel like. So what exactly is David Crane's Amazing Tennis on the Genesis? Released in 1992 and developed by Farsight Technologies, this is a tennis simulator. Men's singles, 3-set matches, viewed from behind the player in a low over-the-shoulder perspective. And that camera angle was the game's whole selling point. It was a first for Genesis tennis games, giving you this immersive, almost first-person feel on the court. You get 3 court surfaces: clay, grass, and hard. You can pick left or right-handed. There are 15 CPU opponents, each with their own nationality, plus 2-player multiplayer options. Enter your name, choose a tournament or head-to-head, and have all your scoring announced by real-life umpire Frank Hammond. On the gameplay side, it's got some surprising depth for its time. You can really mix up your shots. Hard and soft serves are there, and there's even instant replay to settle those close calls. For 1992, that's no joke. And critics noticed. EGM's Ed Semrad called it easily one of the best tennis games available. Enforce called it an amazing leap forward. Back then, if EGM said a sports game was great, people actually listened. But, and this is a significant but, the game has some real issues. First, the camera angle. It's bold, sure, it sets the mood, but trying to track shots on the far side gets tricky. You can lose track of the ball, and in a game all about positioning and timing, that's not great. Even now, people call this out. It looks cool, but man, it can get frustrating. Then there's the 15 opponents. On paper, it sounds like variety, but they're all just reskinned versions of the same players, with different colors, different clothes. There aren't any individual stats, speed differences, power shots, or stamina things in this game. So instead of learning different playstyles, you're basically playing the same opponent 15 times with a new paint job. For customization, yeah, nope, not in this one. You don't upgrade your player, no RPG elements, just one playable character, that's it. For a game with David Crane's name on it, you expect a bit more. Sound-wise, it's a mixed bag. You get the crowd noise, the chair umpire announcing scores, the sound of the ball, good details, but the voice samples are rough. Like Sega 16 once said the referee sounded like he's suffering from decompression. Can't argue with that. Oh, and the Easter egg, right. Here's the thing. You just stand there and let the ball hit your player, he lets out the saddest oof, and that's it. Crotch shot, straight from Crane himself. The guy got the game published and figured, yep, we're keeping this in. So where does all this leave Amazing Tennis now looking from the year 2026? Honestly, it's kind of stuck in the middle. It's better than people give it credit for, but doesn't live up to its own hype. The animation and visuals, super impressive for Genesis back then. The camera angle is a real innovation, even if it trips you up sometimes. Controls and shot selection are genuinely solid, especially with a second player. Two-player gameplay can turn into this wild, chaotic fun which was amazing in the early 90s. But single player gets old fast. No real opponent variety and no depth in tournament mode, with that camera that both helps and hurts. It's gameplay, but it'll ruin your day if you're actually trying to win. Superplay really nailed it. Polished, fun, but not top tier. Put it next to Super Tennis on the SNES, and the Genesis game just doesn't match up. But really, you don't play this game just because David Crane made Pitfall. You play it because you can feel how much he cared, even when the game falls short. He poured himself into this, and that energy comes through, rough spots and all. David Crane's amazing tennis is weird, quirky, sometimes frustrating, sometimes cool. Maybe not amazing, but definitely not forgettable. So if you collect old games, give it a shot. If you ever find it complete in the box, lucky you. And the next time someone asks who created the platformer, you can tell them about the same guy who thought a tennis ball to the crotch was comedy gold, and left it in his game. I think that tells you everything you need to know about David Crane. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Game.